Opp football getting a number 6 ranking by the Alabama Sports Writers Association this week. A powerhouse in the 3A field with eyes on a state championship this season. The Bobcats led by 4th-year head coach Brent Hill. All-star quarterback Orlando Lacey, now a Troy Trojan, out of the picture. Reggie Thompson will be starting at quarterback for the Bobcats. They also have Ty Lindsay and Sperling Kelly returning. 4 returning starters on offense. Coach said the key, though, will be the offensive line, who weren't starters last year, but they did get in some reps, so they do have some experience. New offensive line coach Bubba Nall, coming from Zion Chapel, expected to make a big difference in that department. Last season, the Bobcats had an early exit from the playoffs, losing in round 1. They had a 16-0 lead at the half and ended up losing the game in overtime. This was the first time in Coach Hill's career that they were knocked out in the first round, and they're doing these 3 things to make sure it never happens again.
The first thing you do is you talk about it right off the bat, day one, and you want them to understand. You know, you can't forget it. You got to learn from mistakes. I think sometimes in coaching we make a mistake, and what we teach kids, you can learn from winning and losing. The other thing it does is it shows you can't let up. The third thing you do is you talk about the mentality of it. The game has now, I would tell you, even in college and the NFL, you're starting to hear this, there's more sports psychology going on.
Bobcats open their season September 1st at home versus TR Miller. And in sports news today, Dallas, can you talk about the Bobcats for a second? Coach Hill, I think he may have a future as a therapist once he finishes coaching. His 3 steps, I was like, wow.
Well, you know, every football coach is a therapist, or
true.
at least the good ones are.
Now, last Friday was week 0. Some teams buckled up the helmets, others used the week to prep for a long haul ahead. One Wiregrass team that we all expected in a hurry to erase the memory of 2016 took the week off. But now their revenge tour is set to crisscross the state. Rocco DeSangro is embedded with one half of our upcoming Friday Night Football game of the night.
Aslan, we're out here in the heart of Bobcat country, where the weather hasn't been too kind today to the Opp football team. But with their opening game just 3 days away, the black and gold can't afford to take a day off. Brent Hill and the Bobcats started the day practicing in the indoor facility, then braced the pouring rain shortly after, preparing for Friday night's game against TR Miller. Opp entered the playoffs last year with a 9-1 record, ranked first in their classification, and everyone was shocked when the team was bounced in the first round of the playoffs by a then 4-6 Hillcrest Evergreen team. The loss was something that this team hasn't forgot about, and they're using it as motivation for the season ahead.
Day one in spring, we talked about it. Day one in the summer, we talked about it, and I'll promise you this, on Friday we'll talk about it. And I think our boys have worked and understood why we're working the way we are. And you got a group of kids, we've had some injuries and all that, but there's no excuses. They got a chip on their shoulder and they're ready to play.
We worked really hard. Last year we definitely weren't satisfied. This team in the city definitely expects more. Coaches, they've been harping all week, you know, we got to play physical, and that's what we're going to do.
Now, Brent Hill and his squad seem fired up even with the rain, so expect nothing less from this team come Friday night. That'll wrap things up here from Opp for now. Back to you in the studio.
Check out the Bobcats with an indoor practice facility.
Yeah.
Good for them. So I'm excited to see this matchup. Obviously, as Rocco pointed out, the fact they're 9-1 going to the playoffs. They lose to a team that was below 500, so they'll be coming out hot and ready to roll.
Indeed they will. Thanks a lot.
No team left behind. This week's edition of Friday Night Football will see all the teams in the Wiregrass active and in action. For the Opp Bobcats, the week delay was unbearable. Rocco DeSangro explains.
Aslan, we're out here in the heart of Bobcat country, where the weather hasn't been too kind today to the Opp football team. But with their opening game just 3 days away, the black and gold can't afford to take a day off. Brent Hill and the Bobcats started the day practicing in the indoor facility, then braced the pouring rain shortly after, preparing for Friday night's game against TR Miller. Opp entered the playoffs last year with a 9-1 record, ranked first in their classification, and everyone was shocked when the team was bounced in the first round of the playoffs by a then 4-6 Hillcrest Evergreen team. The loss was something that this team hasn't forgot about, and they're using it as motivation for the season ahead.
Day one in spring, we talked about it. Day one in the summer, we talked about it, and I'll promise you this, on Friday we'll talk about it. And I think our boys have worked and understood why we're working the way we are. And you got a group of kids, we've had some injuries and all that, but there's no excuses. They got a chip on their shoulder and they're ready to play.
We worked really hard. Last year we definitely weren't satisfied. This team in the city definitely expects more. Coaches, they've been harping all week, you know, we got to play physical, and that's what we're going to do.
Now, Brent Hill and his squad seem fired up even with the rain, so expect nothing less from this team come Friday night. That'll wrap things up here from Opp for now. Back to you in the studio.
Thank you, Rocco. So T.R. Miller at Opp will be our Mercedes-Benz Friday night game of the night.
The show starts at 10:30 p.m. Our game of the week tomorrow night. The Opp Bobcats getting the spotlight, hosting T.R. Miller. These two teams have been at the top of Class 3A over the past few years, going head-to-head to open up the season. Last year, Opp won it 30-20. And something else going on with the Opp Bobcats. Last year, they had a fantastic season, lost in the first round of playoffs. So let's see if they can bounce back this year.
Tomorrow night, let's hang out. We'll call it a date. We're not cheating on anybody, though. 10:30 p.m. Friday Night Football. Our game of the week, or game of the night, rather, Opp taking on T.R. Miller. These two teams have been at the top of Class 3A over the past few years. They're going head-to-head to open their seasons. Opp won 30-20 last season. Our game of the night will be a season opener for one of the top powers in the Wiregrass. They want redemption. Rocco DeSangro explains why. Rocco.
Yeah, Aslan, the last time the Opp Bobcats played a game here at Chanel Lee Stadium was November 4th, 2016. And it was a night of football that this team does not forget. It was the first round of the playoffs, and the Opp came into this game as the fourth-ranked team in Class 3A, taking on a Hillcrest Evergreen team with a 5-6 record. It was a sure win for Opp, but the Jags would stun the Bobcats in overtime, coming away with a 28-25 victory, ending Opp's season altogether. The loss is something that Brent Hill and his team haven't forgotten about, and they've talked about it all offseason long, hoping to come into this game tonight with a chip on their shoulder. But tonight, the team shifts its focus to a T.R. Miller team that they've played for the past 5 years, beating them in 2016 by a final of 30-20. And although the Tigers aren't ranked, Coach Hill and his squad know from experience that you can't take any team for granted.
I think their coach does an excellent job. They're well coached. I went and watched them Friday, and they just beat the brakes off of Washington County. They're very big, physical up front. They got two good-looking fullbacks, a tailback, quarterback. They're well coached. They know what they're doing on defense. They're a four-man front, and they do some things that are a little bit unconventional, but they're sound at it.
We got a plan. Like Coach said, we stick to the plan, we should come out on top. So all we do is talk to my guys, make sure we stick to the plan, and see if we come out on top.
We've had a really good game plan we've been putting in all week. I think we're going to execute it well. Coaches, they've been harping all week. We got to play physical, and that's what we're going to do.
And on Tuesday at Opp High School, it poured. It was raining cats and dogs out there, buckets. But this Opp team, it didn't faze them. They were just ready to get after it, as they will be tonight, so expect nothing less from this football team. That'll wrap things up here from Chanel Lee Stadium for now. Back to you in the studio.
Thanks a lot, Rocco. Sperling Kelly kind of looks like Coach Neil Brown from Troy, like a little bit, back in the day.
Back to the Fever, off to Covington County we go. T.R. Miller traveling in from Bruton to take on the Opp Bobcats. Tigers with it. James Jennings dumps it off to DeMarquise McMillan, and he is off to the races down the sideline, just throwing off Bobcats, and he is in for the touchdown. T.R. Miller jumps out in front, and this one all T.R. Miller. The visitors 54-0 over the Opp Bobcats. We jump now.
Guys, and our game of the night features an Opp team looking to defend their home turf against an out-of-town team, T.R. Miller, looking for a huge upset. Be sure to fasten up your seatbelts because our game of the night starts. Drum roll, please. Right now.
Friday Night Football.
So first up, we have a huge contest in Class 3A, big enough for Rocco DeSangro to make the trip out west for this week's Game of the Night.
Game of the Night, brought to you by Mercedes-Benz of Dothan.
The last time the Opp Bobcats got a win at home against T.R. Miller was homecoming of 1982. Well, tonight the Bobcats and head coach Brent Hill look to flip the script and defend their home turf against the Tigers. Beautiful night for some football at Chanel Lee Stadium. The Bobcats looking to open up the season 1-0, but the boys from out of town look to spoil their night. First play from scrimmage, Joseph Jernigan will roll out of the pocket and find a wide-open DeMarquise McMillan. McMillan bounces to the outside, shakes an Opp defender, somehow stays in bounds through it all, and turns on the afterburner 70 yards to the house for the score to give the Tigers a 7-0 lead. Not the start Opp would have hoped for. Still in the first, here come the Bobcats. Reggie Thompson bursts to the outside and gets brought down inside enemy territory, but picks up a big gain on the play. A few plays later, though, Opp looking to knot this game up. Thompson hits Sperling Kelly. Kelly slips a tackle, but coughs up the ball, and Hunter Johnson is all over that like white on rice. Opp, however, would eventually force T.R. Miller to punt, and it's blocked. Huge swing of momentum for the Bobcats. Ensuing possession, though, Opp not able to capitalize, and that would be the story of the first half. To the second quarter we go. Miller knocking on Opp's door again. Joshua Jolly showing off the dance moves, bounces to the right, and he'll be brought down inside the 10-yard line. That sets up DeMarcus McMillan, who takes the handoff up the gut and into the end zone for his second score of the night. He would have 4 touchdowns at the half, with his team taking a 27-0 halftime lead. In the second half, Opp looked to turn things around, hoping for an answer for the McMillan train. But the team did not have an answer. T.R. Miller, too big, too fast, and too strong tonight. The Bobcats fall in this one by a final score of 54-0. And after the game, we caught up with Opp head coach Brent Hill to talk about the loss.
Wasn't a whole lot of good for us. We got to work on depth. We got to work on, I would even say, from all of us in the coaching side, seeing, and that's what you do in the first game. You find out what's going on. But we got to look at everything. The first thing I want to look at is effort. Second thing is execution, and then whatever we're lacking there, we got to look at why. And then the third thing, now look, we had some young guys come in and kept fighting. I'm happy about that, but we got some injuries and some things like that, and T.R. Miller's a great team. They deserve it, and I want to make sure y'all hear that. They deserve it. They did a great job. They came over to our place and got after us.
Coach, I really appreciate your time. Best of luck next week. Next week, the Opp Bobcats will hope to rebound when they take on Strawn in week 2, right here at Chinelli Stadium. That'll wrap things up from our Friday night football game of the night. Back to you guys in the studio.
Thanks, Rocco. Again, that final, T.R. Miller 54, Opp 0. But if Brent Hill wants anything, it's probably an FSU win tomorrow night against Alabama. We keep things moving. And
how about T.R. Miller? They also started with a bye last week. They go on the road to 6th-ranked Opp and just destroyed them 54-0. Wow to that. Other scores tonight.
Happening now, Friday Night Football Fever is on the road down in Covington County as the Opp Bobcats take on the Strawn Tigers. That's where we find WSFA 12 sports reporter Justin McNally. He's live there. And Justin, we understand that the Bobcats are doing something special for tonight's game.
Yeah, Val, hey, I want to bring your attention to this piece of paper that's right here in my hand. This is a flyer that's been passed around by Opp High School students over the last couple days to the hotels within the Opp community. Now, what this flyer is for is if you're a Florida evacuee due to Hurricane Irma, all you got to do is bring this flyer and your Florida ID, and you get into tonight's Opp versus Strawn game free of charge. Now, this idea was brought about by Opp City School Superintendent Michael Smithart. Now, various schools across the state of Alabama are doing something just like this tonight, and it is a great way to show unity during a time just like this for those who are away from their homes.
Anytime you have to come out your home, I mean, it bothers you to get away from family and the things that you used to do and the things you do every day. So the greatest thing we can do for them is make them feel a part of our family by allowing them to come in our stadium and being a part of what we're trying to do. You know, everybody like Friday Night Lights. Most community people at Friday Night Lights is football games, and so having them here definitely going to make them feel like a part of what we're trying to do and a part of our community.
Now, you have to respect that from the Opp community, extending this invitation to those in need. That is Southern hospitality at its finest. Now, once again, if you're an evacuee from Florida from Hurricane Irma, bring these flyers right here and your Florida ID, and you can get into tonight's Opp Strawn game free of charge. Val, these fans are in for quite a show tonight.
All right. Thank you so very much, Justin.
He is covering Opp and Strawn tonight. Justin, that is going to be a huge matchup.
Yeah, Maria, it is a big-time rivalry game here in Covington County. The Opp Bobcats playing host to the Strawn Tigers, and I'm lucky to be joined by both head coaches, John Higgins of Strawn and Coach Brent Hill of Opp. Coach, thank you all for joining us this afternoon. Coach Higgins, we'll start with you. This is your first year as a head coach of the Tigers. Just kind of how have things gone for you so far?
We got some great kids. I've been here for a couple years. It's a fabulous place to be. The community's great. It's just a great place to I hope to retire from down here, because that's what I'm looking forward to. The boys have been working hard. We've had a couple years where we hadn't been working as hard as we should have, and now we're getting back to that. And so we've been pushing them a lot. They've been reminding me of what it really means to be a football player.
Now, Coach Hill, for you, you've been here 4 years. You're won the last 2 in this rivalry game. What's it going to take to get this 3rd straight win over a tough Strawn team?
Well, I mean, it's the same thing for both teams. It comes down to blocking, it comes down to tackling, and to me, one of the biggest things we've got to change from week 1 to week 2 is effort. And it's going to be a physical game. These kids know each other. They grow up against, playing against each other. So
we got to come out and be ready to play. You got to execute too.
Both Opp and Straughn coming off losses last week. Both of those teams are going to be looking for their first win of the season. It is going to be a fantastic game here at Chanel Lee Field. So I know everyone at home is looking forward to this game. Everyone here in Covington County is looking forward to this game. So we're sure to have everything ready for you guys coming up tonight on Friday Night Football Fever. We'll have highlights of this game and more all throughout here coming up tonight on the Fever. But that's it for sports. We'll be right back.
So let's now hit the road again, this time all the way down to Covington County, a rivalry in Opp tonight. It's the Bobcats against the Straughn Tigers. Justin McNally has been patiently waiting for his time to shine. So Justin, the floor is yours. The field, whatever you want to call it.
Hey, Steven, yeah, this was quite a game here between Opp and Straughn. As you can see behind me, this game's been final for about an hour. As a lot of people say about me, the lights are on, but no one's home. So let's take it back to last week, though. We're talking about the Bobcats. Last week was the first time the Bobcats have been shut out since September 14th, 2008. To put that in perspective, I was still in high school. There was a Covington County showdown between the Bobcats and the Tigers. Straughn head coach John Higgins looking for his first win. Bobcats also looking to get in the win column. 9 years ago, last time Opp was shut out, ain't letting that happen again. Ashton Patel in the opening kick, going, gone. 100 yards to the house. That's a perfect 10 by number 10 Patel. Get you some water there, Ashton. You've earned it. Tigers came to play, though. Straughn defense looking tough, holding it to just 6-0 at the half, but that's when the tide shifted. Opp in the third quarter, Hal Smithhart to Reggie Thompson, 80 yards for the score. Bobcats would take a 12-0 lead. And the fans and the Bobcat here, they're loving it. The duo of Smithhart and Thompson would connect for one more score, much shorter on this one. Thompson would score 3 times on the day. Opp takes care of Straughn 26-0.
We knew one thing we have to do is get more physical, and Straughn, I can tell they came out this week with the same idea, same mentality. You got to get physical, and the thing at halftime we just talked about settling down. It's not like, hey, we need to draw up new plays and all of that. It's about do what we do and settle down and let's execute it. And once the boys did that, I felt like, you saw a little rhythm. You saw us moving the ball again.
Coach settled down. We had talked to our coaches. He told you we weren't playing Bobcat football at first. Coach here just told everybody to calm down and play Bobcat football and believe in one another and believe in the offense and believe in the system. And that's what we did. I want to give MVP to Hal. I told him that before I came on. I said, because he's a freshman, some freshmen freeze up, but we practice him hard. And, scout team made the best of him. And you see, he did what he supposed to do. And, we came out on top.
Opp gets the win. First win on the season for them. Straughn falls to 0-2.
Opp, on the other hand, also no scoring last week. 26-0. They get the victory. We were out there for game of the night, but now this week, come on, guys.
I'm honest, seriously, guys. If you don't score when we're there, we're going to put you on probation until you score. So good for Slocum and good for Opp. Let's go out to Panther Stadium in Wicksburg. The Panthers playing host to the Bobcats of Opp, and this one would be all Wicksburg all night long. All night. Third quarter, Ethan Wells direct snap off to the races. Straight to the limo, 70 yards for the touchdown. Panthers go up 20-0 as evidenced by the scoreboard. Cheerleaders get those tries. Next possession, Sean Bowden, awesome last name. Remember that name. We'll hear from it later on. Breaking tackles like it's his job. If he got paid, it would be his job, so we really can't say it's his job. He's a student athlete. 27-0 for Wicksburg. Opp, I just couldn't get anything going. It happens. Wicksburg wins easily, 41-0.
It's another shutout loss for Opp, not what we're looking for. But out
for the Bobcats homecoming tonight. Houston Academy attempting a field goal here, but it's blocked. Anthony Tillis, he blocks it and recovers it by Ty Lindsay. That one looked good. The homecoming core, they were also excited about that defense, as they should be. Opp back on offense now. Quarterback Robert Smithhart passes to Ty Lindsay. He's going to take it all the way to the house. They win it 30-19 over Houston Academy.
Well, let's come closer to home. Opp, they get the win 30-19. Brent Hill turning his boys around after a couple losses.
Band of the Week, sponsored by Hometown Lenders.
Hey, big pat on the back to all the band members out there. They keep the party going on Friday nights. Even bigger congrats to the Opp Bobcat band.
They're named the Band of the Week. Remember, folks, you can vote for your favorite band and cheerleaders on the DothanMortgageMan.com.
Cheerleader of the Week, sponsored by Hometown Lenders.
Hey, first we got the band, now we got the girls. Opp Bobcat cheerleaders. The reason why these cheers are stuck in our heads every Friday was black, gold, or whatever right there.
Yeah.
DothanMortgageMan.com. You can vote for your favorite cheerleaders and bands.
Covington County, Opp. This is a big rivalry here. Opp on the road to Andalusia. Bulldogs with the ball early on. Quarterback Ethan Wilson hands it off to Roosevelt Weaver, and the deuce gets loose in for the 15-yard touchdown. Andy in front. Bulldogs back with it on offense. Wilson fakes the handoff, drops back, and finds number 12 on channel 12. Anderson Bridges with a nice, great grab, whatever you want to call it. Fantastic grab for the touchdown for the Bulldogs. Still in the lead, but Opp looking to answer. Quarterback LaReginald Thompson trying to get something going for the Bobcats. Scrambles, gets past some defenders, 27-yard gain, but the drive would stall for the Bobcats. So Andalusia trying to tack on more points, but Wilson's throw to the end zone will eventually be picked off right here, but it does not matter because Andalusia with a big win over rival Opp, 47-7, the final there in Covington County. So the Fever Crew, as we said, all over the place tonight. Also in
Andalusia, though, they're pretty good, huh, there, Noah?
Yeah, Andalusia top of the Class 4A ranks. They take down Opp 47-7. Let's keep it going.
All right, 5 teams in Class 3A's Region 2 have 2 or more wins. Only 4 will make the playoffs. Opp is one of those teams, but Slocum lagging behind at 1 and 2. So this was crucial. The Red Tops needed to come out on top to keep pace in that region. Let's head to Slocum, shall we? The Bobcats have a commanding 21-0 lead going into the half, but the Red Tops answer in a big way. Is it going to be Nathaniel Ammons taking the handoff up the middle for a short gain? Fast forward on 3rd and long. It's going to be Cade Price. Looking. He's got John Hagler. Don't call me Marvin. Oh, man. But that's incomplete. But, hey, some laundry on the field. And with new life, Cade fakes everybody out and puts the team on his back. 15 yards. That's probably about 22 yards on the touchdown, it looked like there. Placed the ball down very gently like a gentleman. Very nice. But Slocum, a little too late. Too little too late. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. Opp wins 35-14.
The Covington County Opp Bobcats taking on Providence Christian tonight. First quarter in this one, Ashton Patel with the carry, and number 10 turns on the Jets for the Bobcats. A nice gainer inside the 5-yard line for the Bobcats. Later on is LaReginald Thompson. This is a touchdown strike to Ty Lindsay. Bobcats out in front, and it stays that way. Opp wins it at home 41-7 over Providence Christian. We jump now to
there. Opp getting a win 41-7. We all picked Opp at ESPN 107.7 earlier today. They get the win. Out to Geneva City, homecoming for the Cats. Shout out to their queen, Elizabeth. On to the action, though. Geneva hosting Opp. Home team roaring early on. Let's check out this handoff to James Williams. He's lost in the tussle right there, but he does know where to go. 11-yard run, moves the chains. The drive ends in success when the up back plunges across the plane for the opening points of the night. But the Panthers were not done yet. Neither was the mascot. Wide receiver screen, Mason Koskry hits Dylan Creech, puts his head down, and gets the Panthers inside the Opp 10-yard line. From there, James Williams will finish it off. Jump cut on play dirt right here. 14-0. Geneva takes control, but Opp finally gets assertive. A simple handoff. Keep it simple. Hands it off to Ashton Patel, and he gone. Patel lunges at the pylon right here for the score. Good enough for the touchdown. Even though the ball popped out, they did call it a score on the field. Geneva gets the win over Opp 29-19.
I think that's an upset.
Well, let's show you what we couldn't show you earlier. Covington County Bobcats. We told you already, the seniors, they're trying to get a big win on senior night. This would be a special moment for them. But keep your eye on number 25, Jalen White for Daleville. This is the opening kickoff, folks. You got to come out hard, got to come out fast if you're looking for a playoff berth. The first play of the game. Jalen White will take this all the way down the middle of the field for the touchdown. But, folks, that's not even going to be the last time you hear this young man's name be called. The Bobcats would get it together, though. Quarterback Reggie Thompson would find star receiver Colby Williams for the big game, and that would lead to Opp's own senior Anthony Tillis. We're going to check in on him. He's going to be able to punch this in for 6 points right up against the goal line. Touchdown, Bobcats. But like we said, the Warhawks, they want to call on their own puncher near the goal line.
Jalen White won Player of the Week last week,
He
right?
did.
He's good.
Former WTY Player of the Night. And he, sorry about that. And he takes this all the way around to the outside.
Pizza.
Yeah, thank you to Domino's. Daleville, they get the win 30-25. So that kind of gives what we're about to do a little bit more context.
Right. Again, folks, so here how's it looks. Wicks
Head to Elba. The Opp Bobcats are in town visiting Elba, and that's where we have Justin McNelly on the scene with Fever on the road. Justin, Opp and Elba, though, not the only game you were at this evening.
Back at Macwood Field, trash talking is a must in this game between Opp and Elba. Look at the sign here. I tried to change my Snapchat password to Opp, but it said it was too weak. In Elba's defense, it is just 3 letters long. No symbols or anything. Pretty weak password if you ask me. Opp up 12-8 early, but running back Ashton Patel would cough it up and Elba would recover the ball. And you never want to give an Ed Rigby team a short field. Richmond Singletary with the keeper. He's in for 6. Elba would take a 16-12 lead into the half, but never count out the Bobcats. Opp still fighting. Patel, he's not letting go of this one, muscling his way in for the score. Bobcats go back on top 18-16, but this game belonged to Mr. Singletary and the Tigers. Richmond Singletary breaking loose to the outside, streaking down the sideline. He takes it in for the score. He had 3 rushing touchdowns on the day as Elba knocked off Opp for the first time since 2004, 30-18.
Welcome back to Friday Night Football. There's a few rivalries in the Wiregrass that always catch my eye. Obviously, you have Dothan Northview, Houston Academy, Providence Christian. But low-key, my favorite rivalry in the whole Wiregrass is when the Elba Tigers and Opp Bobcats play. My first season covering this area, that was easily Game of the Year, so it just resonates with me. The 82nd edition of this Coffee County rivalry, and the Cannons would go off early in this one as Elba hosted the Opp Bobcats. Check out Elba with the ball inside of the red zone. The flexbone formation, ruthless out there. Xavier Florent gets the ball, and he's untouched into the end zone. 6-0 Tigers. And who even kicks extra points these days? They're worthless. Another flexbone attack. Again, Florent this time gets rolled into the end zone for the 2-point try. You see him there hobbling. He would leave the game with a left leg injury. But the Opp Bobcats, they know they have to respond after an Elba touchdown quickly. Brent Hill calls the flea flicker. The ball will get soared high in the air. Who's going to come down with it? It'll be tipped, but Reggie Thompson gets the catch. Their 2-point, though, no good, and that may be the difference maker. Could have been. Elba gets the win 30-18 over the Opp Bobcats. Well, moving on now. An important part of every football game, cheerleaders. A huge congratulations goes out to the Opp Lady Bobcats for winning the Class 3A state championship today in Hanceville. The girls beat out the runner-ups in Piedmont to earn their 2nd straight state title. What an accomplishment. Congratulations, girls.